Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Mr. Natural's Music School. We're in San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury District in lovely California. So, today we are working on rhythm, ear training, and dictation. What you'll need for this lesson is pencil and paper, something hard backed that you could put it on so when you're doing the dictation you can actually hear the tip of the pencil going, right? And it helps you hear the rhythm as we're doing it. Now, if you haven't been watching us for a while, I suggest you go back and catch up. And if tonight you have a hard time keeping up, then go back 1 or 2 weeks and review the lessons and then come forward. I would also like to mention that this video is being sponsored by me. And I have this book called Music Theory Decoded, strictly by the numbers, which I've written, which you can find on Amazon.com or on Lulu.com press. At Lulu.com, it's a little bit cheaper. And Amazon, if you're buying more than one, probably cheaper there, I don't know. Sometimes Amazon's cheaper than Lulu, sometimes it's the other way around. Depends on whether they're having sales or not. This book is an enumeration or decoding of music into intervals. And it explains how intervals are the bones. Just like my body has bones and your body has bones, and we all have the identical number of bones. But what happens is when you start adding the muscle and the sinew and the skin, you get all these, 7 billion differences. And that's the way music is. Underneath harmony and underneath melody are the bones, which are the numbers or the intervals. And the numbers analyze and let you know exactly what's going on and what you're doing and why you're doing it, okay? So instead of just memorizing how to do something, you can figure out what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. And that's really important in music. So, to get right into the ear training, we have done drum, we have done Tarzan, drum, drum, Tarzan, drum, Tarzan, 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 drum, drum, Tarzan, Tarzan, drum. And you should be able to dictate that by now. Then we added alligator, alligator, a 4-syllable word in the same amount of time as these other guys. So we can go Tarzan, Tarzan, alligator, alligator, Tarzan, drum, Tarzan, drum, alligator, alligator, Tarzan, Tarzan, alligator, alligator, Tarzan, drum, drum, alligator, drum, alligator, Tarzan, Tarzan, alligator, drum. Then last week we introduced a new character, which we call TAR-GATOR. And tonight we're going to also introduce a new one called ALLI-ZAN. Now what these guys is they're a compound. What we do is, since there are 2 syllables here and 4 syllables there, I can take this syllable, tar, put it right there, which is one flag, and then take the gator, the back part of the alligator, and add that on the upbeat, and then wind up with tar-gator, 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 tar-gator. So you have tar-gator, tar-gator. Tar's on the downbeat, gator's on the upbeat. The other word, which we're going to introduce a little bit later on, is ALLI-ZAN. So now what we're doing is we're taking the beginning, or the front part of the alligator, the 16th notes, and adding the last half of this 8th note here, called zan. So it's ALLI-ZAN, ALLI-ZAN. And again, you can tell because there's 2 flags on the ALLA part and only 1 flag on the ZAN. Just as over here, there's 1 flag on the tar part and 2 flags on the gator. So we have Tarzan, Tarzan, alligator, alligator, tar-gator, tar-gator, Tarzan, tar-gator, Tarzan, tar-gator, drum, tar-gator, tar-gator, Tarzan, Tarzan, drum, alligator, tar-gator, alligator, drum. And we've done that up to this point. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some more drilling with this word and these other words in combination today. And then at the end, we're going to add in the ALLI-ZAN. All right? So let's erase all this. Now remember, we're doing everything in 4/4, which is also called common time, and we're doing it in 1, 2, 3, 4 beats. And there'll either be 1 syllable or 2 syllables or 4 syllables, or you'll hear 3 syllables when we're using ALLI-ZAN or TAR-GATOR, okay? So now, let's start out with our first. So, get your ear balls ready and put on your thinking cap. So the first one for tonight is I'm going to add in TAR-GATOR and drill that for a little while here. Okay, you ready? Again. Once more. Drum, drum, tar, gator, drum. So we just put down the stems first. Connect, then add your note heads. Drum, drum, tar, gator, drum. The next rhythm. Again. And once more. Drum. Heard 3 syllables there. Put 2 flags. Drum, tar, gator, drum, drum. 1 flag, 2 flags. This can also be notated like this. Put 1 flag on here. Draw these individually if you wish, but put 2 flags on them. And this is how they'd be drawn individually. 16th note, 16th note, 8th note, right? 2 flags, 2 flags, 1 flag, 1 flag. Tie them together, looks like that. Okay, listen. Again. Again.
I've got a chat question that says drum is a whole note at the beginning of each measure?
No, drum is a single beat, not a whole note. If it were a whole note, it would occupy all 4 beats. What we're doing is we're only using individual beats, and we're putting 1 syllable or 2 syllables or 4 syllables on that beat. TAR-GATOR sounds like it has 3 syllables, but it's all offset. TAR-GATOR, TAR-GATOR, or ALLI-ZAN, ALLI-ZAN. We'll get into that a little bit more later. So as you can see, drum, TAR-GATOR, TAR-GATOR, drum. Okay, listen carefully. Once more. Drum, TAR-GATOR, TARZAN, drum. Drum, TAR-GATOR, TARZAN, drum. Next week I'm going to show you how to actually compose. How do we use these things? And I'll explain what we call standalone rhythms versus dependent rhythms. And we'll do a little bit of composition, and we'll show you what solos, duets, and trios are like, just using rhythms. All right, next one. Once more. Bum, 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 bum. And we put in the lines. TAR-GATOR, TARZAN, TAR-GATOR, drum. TAR-GATOR, TARZAN, TAR-GATOR, drum. TAR-GATOR, TARZAN, TAR-GATOR, drum. Let me mark off what I did already. Okay, next. Again. Tarzan, tar-gator, tar-gator, drum. Tarzan, tar-gator, tar-gator, drum. Tarzan, tar-gator, tar-gator, drum. Okay. Now don't forget the other code words. I'm starting to add them in here, okay? One more time. Tar-gator, alligator, Tarzan, drum. Tar-gator, alligator, Tarzan, drum. Tar-gator, alligator, Tarzan, drum. And rhythm number 8. One more time. Alligator, tar-gator, Tarzan, drum. Alligator, tar-gator, Tarzan, drum. And now rhythm number 9. One more time. Alligator, alligator, tar-gator, drum. Alligator, alligator, tar-gator, drum. All right, so what we're doing is now we're mixing up this tar-gator with some alligators and some Tarzans and some drums. Rhythm number 10. Once more. Tar-gator, 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 drum. Tar-gator, 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 drum. Tar-gator, 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 drum. Okay, that was the 10 using that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to introduce the ALLI-ZAN. ALLI-ZAN, 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 ALLI-ZAN. So let me put it together with some drums so you can start to hear it. Okay, hope you're starting to hear it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put that together, and we're not going to use the, well, yeah, we are going to use the tar-gator. Okay, here we go. You ready? Rhythm number 11. Again. Once more time. Tarzan, 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 ALLI-ZAN drum. Tarzan, Tarzan, ALLI-ZAN drum. Number 12. Tarzan, ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, drum. Tarzan, ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, drum. Tarzan, ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, drum. Rhythm number 13. Once more. You see we're putting the double flag in the front. ALLI-ZAN, ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, drum. ALLI-ZAN, ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, drum. Now I'm going to put them together. I'm going to use an ALLI-ZAN and a TAR-GATOR. So I want you to listen to the difference. ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, TAR-GATOR, drum. TAR-GATOR. Now your 14th rhythm. ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, TAR-GATOR, drum. ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, TAR-GATOR, drum. ALLI-ZAN, Tarzan, TAR-GATOR, drum. Now when ALLI-ZAN and TAR-GATOR get together, sometimes they have an alligator in the middle of them, it gets kind of weird, right? So what happens is, if I go TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, what I have is a tar and you hear an alligator in the middle and then, right? So TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN. And it can get a little weird. Now if I put a alligator in the middle of that, right? TAR-GATOR, alligator, ALLI-ZAN, drum. TAR-GATOR, alligator, ALLI-ZAN, drum. That's the weirdest thing to listen for, okay? And it doesn't get any harder than that. So let's look at this one. TAR-GATOR, TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, drum. You see here? Looks like there's an alligator in the middle, doesn't it? So don't let that fool you, because this is on the offbeat, that's on the downbeat. And they're predicated by these on either end to anchor them, to make it easier for your ear to hear. We are getting into slightly more sophisticated things. It requires a little bit more subtle listening to like 1/16 of a particle, but I'm sure you all get it. Okay, you ready? TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, TARZAN, drum. TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, TARZAN, drum. Now, if you're just listening to these things and you're getting them, bless you. That's a good thing. But the reason I want you to write them down is, one, not enough people learn to write in America. And if you learn to write these rhythms down till they're comfortable, you'll also find out sometimes I'm on the bus and the bus wheels start to make a rhythm and I hear it and I write it out and I come home and I jam with that, right? Or I'm listening to some machine going ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Or sometimes my printer, when it starts to print, it makes these interesting rhythms. And I hear these rhythms and I write them down. And I use all these sounds around me all the time, decoded into these things. And then I come home and I actually turn them into music. And we'll show you more and more next week about how to do that. Okay, 2 more code words. You ready? Once more. Okay. Alligator, tar-gator, tar-gator, drum. Alligator, tar-gator, tar-gator, drum. Alligator, tar-gator, tar-gator, drum. Okay. TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, TAR-GATOR, drum. TAR-GATOR, 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 ALLI-ZAN, drum. TAR-GATOR, TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, drum. TAR-GATOR, TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, drum. TAR-GATOR, TAR-GATOR, ALLI-ZAN, drum. You'll notice that some of these start to sound kind of country or jazzy. As we get into more complicated rhythms, you're going to start hearing a lot of these things in jazz. But in jazz, we also like the bebop rhythm, or what's called pre-bebop rhythm, and we like to use a lot of offbeats, okay? And those will start coming up. Offbeats are a little bit harder, okay? So that's it for the rhythm training this week, okay? Next week, we're going to do more with TAR-GATOR and ALLI-ZAN, so you get those into your ear ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on how do I use these. What is a strong independent rhythm that can stand on its own? I call it a standalone rhythm. What is a dependent rhythm? A rhythm that requires more rhythm to finish it off, to make it sound like it's beginning or to make it sound like it's ending. How do I make, instead of a one measure, little one measure things, how do I make 2 measure rhythms? How do I do 4 measure rhythms? You'll notice a lot in rap music, for instance, a lot of the drum beats and a lot of the bass beats are just 2 measures or 4 measures repeated over and over and over and over. So you don't have to be able to generate a lot of material. The second thing to that is, well, how do I use it to create something like a duet? In a duet, you don't want both people speaking all the time. And you don't want one person saying a whole bunch of really complicated rhythms and the other person coming in with complicated rhythms and they're not related to each other in some way or another. Quite often we swap rhythms, we swap spit, right? Well, one guy will do something, another guy will imitate him, and they'll do this imitation thing back and forth. Then the third thing in composition is we have composition forms, which you'll hear about. They're called song forms, like ABA, or AB, AC, AD, so rondo rhythm. Or we also will use poetry. For instance, we'll do end line rhyme, or front line rhyme, or front line end line rhyme. And we're going to work with all of those tools a little bit next week just to get you acquainted with these ideas that just with the rhythms alone, you can sit and start writing duets, trios, quadra, 4-part harmony, basically, and then later what you do is you bend these rhythms around. We're also going to talk about something known as an isorhythm. An isorhythm is an independent rhythm that stands on its own, that's repeated over and over and over. So a lot of rap uses an iso rhythm. They find an iso rhythm, they get an iso rhythm on the bass line, and they'll repeat that over and over and over, and that becomes part of the hook. Okay? So, until next week, be well, everybody out there. Welcome to Mr. Natural's classroom. If you're in the Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco sometime, we are open after 3:30 p.m. because we do after-school programs up until 10 p.m. in the evening. If you come by and you see us working with a student, well, come on in anyway. Sit down quietly until we're done with the student, and in between students, I get a chance to say hello, or I'll sign an autograph, or do whatever touristy thing you need. Take a picture of me with you so you can, put it on social media or whatever. So until then, everybody, be well, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same station. Strictly by the numbers at 7:30 p.m. PST time. That would be, we are on the West Coast, or what some people like to call, we're on the liberal coast as opposed to the conservative coast. See you next week. Bye-bye.